Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are from group 2. We'll presented about cooperative and implicator. So my name is Putri Mardiani as presenter and moderator, and my partner is.
I'm Rizka Hanif.
Here I am Sabrina Ainur Hidayat.
And I'm Sawarisha Zahra.
So without any further ado, let's explain it the material. For the first presenter, time is yours.
So before we dive into the material, I have a short conversation between A and B. So the first one, A asked, "Will Sally be at the meeting this afternoon?" And B answered, "Her car broke down." So B, instead of saying yes or no, or yes, she will, or no, she will not, B answered non-resonant answer. But if we involve to that conversation, we will imply the meaning of answer B as no. So why is that? Because Sally's car is broken and she is not able to come to the meeting. So basically it's all no. And the question is, how do we understand this, even though it's not resonant answer? So this has correlation with cooperative principles that will be explained by my friend in the next chapter. But next slide. But before that, let's get to know what is cooperative and implicature. The first one, cooperative. So cooperative is how listeners and speakers act cooperatively and mutually accept one another to be understood in a particular way. So, cooperative itself can be understood as an essential factor when speakers and listeners are interacting. In other words, it is the expectation that the listeners has towards the speaker. The speaker is supposed to convey true statement and say nothing more than what is required. The second one is implicature. So implicature is any meaning which is conveyed indirectly or through hints and understood implicitly without ever being explicitly stated. Implicator is considered as an additional conveyed meaning. According to George Yule, implicating, also sometimes called implying, is some things that speaker do. Implicators are everything that people mean other than the literal meaning of whether they said. It is attained when a speaker intends to communicate more than just what the words mean. Next slide. So implicature itself divided into two types. The first one is conversational implicatures, and the second one is conventional implicatures. But these types will be explained in the next group, which is group 3 about this. And before we have the explanation about this, we have corporative principles that will be explained by my friends. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Rizkani. So here I will explain it about the cooperative principle. The cooperative principle is a fundamental concept in pragmatics that governs how people communicate effectively in everyday conversation. It is based on the assumption that participants in a conversation cooperate with each other to achieve a common purpose or direction, and that they usually attempt to be informative, thoughtful, relevant, and clear in their communication. So next slide. Cooperative principle was introduced by philosopher H. Paul Gris in his 1975 article, Logic and Conversation. Gris argued that meaningful dialogue is characterized by cooperation, where each participant recognizes as a common purpose or set of purposes, or at least a mutually accepted direction. The cooperative principle is crucial in understanding how people communicate effectively in various contexts, including social, professional, and educational settings. It highlights the importance of cooperation mutual respect, and effectively communication in achieving common goals and fostering positive relationships. Next slide. So, cooperative principle make your conventional contribution such as is required at the stage at which it occurs by accepted purpose or direction of the talk exchange in which you are engaged. Like example, man, does your dog bite? And woman answered, no. And then the man reaches down to pet the dog. The dog bite the man's hand and man say, ouch. Hey, you said your dog doesn't bite. And woman answered, he doesn't. But that's not my dog. And so, in one of the problem in this scenario has to do with communication. A, asking the question, and the man assumed that the dogs belongs to the woman. And B, the woman's answer provided less information than expected. And C, is the woman willing to talk with the man? And D, the maximum quantity is floated. In most circumstances, the assumption of cooperation is so pervasive that it can be stated as a cooperative principle of conversation and elaborated in four sub-principles called maxims. So that's all for me. Next explanation will be present by my partner.
Okay, next is Maxim. The success of a conversation depends on the cooperation between interlocutors. Chris, in 1975, proposes the cooperative principle as a guidance between the speakers and listeners in conversational interactions. When people are able to fulfill the cooperative principle is called observance maxim. And observance of maxim categorized into four maxims. The first one is quantity. Maxim of quantity emphasize informations. The informations should be neither too little nor too much. Gris in 1975 explained that the participants should make contribution as informative as is required for the current purposes of the exchange. And don't make your contribution more informative than is required to fulfill maximum quantity. The second one is quality. Maxim of quality can be defined be as truthful as required. Cutting in 2002 states that maxim of quality regulates a speaker to be sincere, to be honest in saying something. They have to say something that they believe corresponds to reality. Some speakers like to draw their listeners' attention to the fact that they are only saying what they believe to be true and that they lack adequate evidence. And the third one is maxim of relation. Maxim of relation means that the utterance must be relevant to the topic being discussed. Grace in Yule 1996 states that to fulfill the maxim of relation, both speaker and listener of conversation should be relevant with the topic being told. And the last one is manner. Maxim of manner obligates speakers' utterance to be perspicuous, which is not to be ambiguous, obscure, or disorderly. Levinson in 1983 states that maxim of manner specifies what participants have to do in order to converse in a maximally efficient, rational, and cooperative way. They should also speak sincerely, relevantly, and clearly while providing sufficient information. That's all from me. The next material will be delivered by my friend.
Okay, everyone, for the next topic is Hijaz. Lakov says in 1972, page 471, he said that for Hijaz, any adequate treatment will have to take context into account. So, Hijaz are a group of words whose function are to conduct communication. The communicative function of words cannot work without context. Consequently, the study on hedges should be confined to the range of context from which the pragmatic study on the function of hedges derives. Next slide, please. For the types of hedges or classification of hedges, the hedge is divided into two kinds. For the first is shields, and for the second is approximators. And each kind is divided into 2 points. For the first on shields, we can see that plausibility shields and attribution shields. And for the second, for approximators, we can see that adapters and rounders. So here I want to I want to explain about the right side first is approximators. Okay, next please. Hedges of approximators. Approximators make certain amendments to the content of the discourse structure or provide the range of adaptation. In other words, approximators are those hedges that can change the original meaning of discourse. In verbal communication, the correct usage of these two type approximators, that adapters and rounders, uh, can help speakers to avoid being assertive, that speak appropriately in order to successfully achieve the purpose of communication. Okay, next please. Okay, here I want to see, let's see about the 4 examples. For the first and the second examples is include to the first point of approximator hedges is adapters. Adapters is usually work as modifier of terms in communication. More specifically speaking, adapters are expressions which reveal the degree of truth of the original preposition. As we can see, for the first example is your attitude is little rude. And for the second, there are the two types of conversation. A, what about his ears? Is he still draining fluid? It's just sort of crusted, not really draining. Okay, I pointed word a little rude and sort of. Here make the certain measure for a certain point for the things, so it makes that the hearer uh can understand about the certain for the certain total or for the certain amount of the something, different with the third and fourth example, that the body is temperature is approximately 36.9 centigrade, which is essentially the degree of a healthy condition. And we can see for the last example is the heart beats something between 60 or 64 times a minute. Word approximately and something between is just still a measurement, is not a certain amount of something. So the speaker also cannot get the certain amount of the context, because so the degree is the word degree can be sorry, the approximately and something between is included into the next kind is the rounders, which is rounders is referred to the hedges which limit the range of subjects. They are usually some words to measure things. We can point that to measure things. Okay, next slide please. For the second kind of hedges is edge of shields. Shields work as instruction to indicate the discourse reflecting the speaker's or others' opinions. So hedge of shields divided also into 2 points, that they are plausibility and attribution. Okay, next slide please. we can see the plausibility shields from the first and for the to the first and the second example. Sorry, let me see that for the first example is the experiment are going to on smoothly as far as I know. And for the second is, as she is not here, I suppose she must have gone home. Possibility shields refer to the speaker's direct speculation of a certain subject or attitudes that they hold. In this case, possibility shields usually include the first person pronouns, such as I, singular or plural maybe, which indicates that the speaker are willing to take the responsibility of the truth of their statement or offer the alternative opinion or ideas for the reference. And for the third example is included into the second point, second kind of the Hedges shields. It is the attribution shields. It shows that there was presumably to acute decrease in heart rate. Attribution, it shows in that sentence was presumably is attribution shields that in the sentence above to the help to avoid the personal factors and mitigate the responsibility when the speakers try to make the statements. The impersonal structure, together with the attribution shields, weakens the responsibility of the speakers when they make statements. Okay, it's enough from me. Thank you for your attention, please. Back to moderator.
Okay, maybe that's all for our group. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Gimana?